Hello, everyone. I welcome you to the very first Complementary reveal event on the birthday of Complementary Shaders. Today, we will talk about something new, something that I was teasing for almost a year now, a brand new shader pack. After working on it for so long, in less than just 10 minutes, the reveal trailer for the new shader pack will be out on YouTube. But before that, I want to talk about what led us here. Real quick. Won't take too long. Uh, what is the reason we are getting a new shader pack all of a sudden? To understand this, we need to take a look at complementary shaders. The good old complementary that we all know released 2 years ago today. And in that 2 years, it got over 4 million downloads. You may ask how or why. I think it mainly comes down to four things. First of all, it looks nice. It's just a generally nice looking pack according to the feedback I got over the years from you guys. It's exciting too with brand new features like integrated PBR or scene-aware colored lighting. I think the overall result turned out to be nice looking over the development cycle. Secondly, it is almost issueless. I fixed bugs that almost no other shader pack addressed before. Like I even start fixing vanilla Minecraft bugs, like item frames flickering on when put on pressure plates. Thirdly, it isn't excessive. I kept most effects subtle in complementary in order to not disturb the gameplay. And lastly, Uh, it is well optimized. It runs well on most decent computers, and as far as I know, it's one of the most optimized shader packs out there. So Complementary was a big success, I think, which I think is thanks to those four factors. But there are also negative things that can be said about Complementary. As far as I have seen, there are three main things that the Minecraft community didn't like about Complementary. Firstly, even though it's well optimized, it's still not exactly enough. Complementary being one of the most optimized packs, unfortunately doesn't make it good enough for most people. Especially thanks to the performance losses in newer Minecraft versions. Most common hardware found in computers are not able to run complementary at great performance levels. Secondly, the second problem, I think, is that it doesn't exactly complement Minecraft. Like, this isn't a big problem, but I have seen a lot of people that just don't use any shader packs at all because they say almost no shader pack fully respects the design decisions of Minecraft. And to some point, I think, and I agree with them at this point. Thirdly, I think the third problem is that the fact that it's getting harder and harder to make bigger changes to complementary. This may not be obvious at first, but there are quite a lot of suggestions that I simply had to refuse over the last 2 years. Because it just can't be implemented into complementary without major problems. The most common one being volumetric clouds. And Complementary started as an edit of BSL made by Captain Tatsu, which I want to say that BSL is an amazing shader pack, but it isn't exactly the code base I want if we are going to make massive changes to it. So, I decided to make a brand new shader pack, not based on anything, a complete new code base, but it will contain hopefully the best features of complementary shaders that you all told me that you like. From now on, the complementary that we know won't be gone. It will still be here. It will be called complementary V4 or complementary version 4 from now on. And it will still get updated. I will still keep it updated just because I know that some of you will still love it because There are so many users of complementary shaders that I can't exactly stop supporting all of you and tell you to switch to a new shader pack. I can't do that. So it will still get updated, but uh, we are getting a new shader pack to hopefully please your suggestions going forward. I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed making it. The reveal trailer will be out in exactly 5 minutes from now on, and we will be back here 10 minutes after the trailer launch, where I will talk about some new technology in the new shader pack, and then I will try to answer all of your questions that any of you might have. So please don't miss the trailer in just 4 minutes now. And see you all in 14 minutes, where I will talk about the new technology in the new share pack and answer your questions, hopefully. So see you all in 14 minutes, and in just 4 minutes, we will watch the new reveal trailer. Hello again. Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the stage. So I hope you enjoyed the reveal trailer for the upcoming shader pack, Complementary Reimagined. Um, if you missed the trailer, you can watch it right now on YouTube. We had a small problem with the website that is shown in the end. I don't know why it doesn't work right now, but I will fix it just after the reveal event, and you can enter it then. I will post an announcement in this Discord server about it. Sorry for that. So, I now want I want to talk about the new technology in this new shader pack. You can ask your questions about Reimagined in the reveal questions channel I just created. I will try to answer all of your questions. Not I can't answer all of your questions actually, as there are just too many, but I will try to answer the important ones. Um, but now I want to talk about a couple features. In Complementary Reimagined, I wanted to achieve the ultimate Minecraft visuals, if that makes sense. Uh, but I'm not meaning that in the sense of realism or complexity. Actually, the quite opposite. I wanted to make the shader pack that achieves the great visuals, but doesn't discard the design decisions of Minecraft. This may sound easy at first, but there are actually quite a few problems with this approach. First of all, the clouds. The clouds need to be Minecraft clouds. But Minecraft has one of the most unique clouds of any game, being incredibly simple, but also not really good looking. In order to achieve good looking Minecraft clouds, you need to do ray tracing, or more specifically, ray marching. This is of course supposed to be not good for performance. But I can happily tell you that clouds in Complementary Reimagined actually run even faster than the good old Complementary version 4's Skybox clouds. The second thing I want to talk about is what I internally call perpendicular tweaks. The thing is that in Minecraft, the sun angle is always perpendicular to the north axis. You may have noticed that pretty much all shader packs change the sun angle of Minecraft for several reasons. But they mainly do it to achieve just way better looking lighting, as the sun angle of Minecraft is just really bad for good looks, especially during the noon time. I could not just change the sun angle in this new shader pack, as that wouldn't fit with my goal of achieving the ultimate visuals for Minecraft. So I had to rethink the very fundamentals of doing lighting. The very basic fact that surfaces that aren't looking towards the sun should be dark is now gone and reworked in the reimagined shader pack to make the sun angle of Minecraft look good even during noon. Here in the reveal event screen channel in Discord, I will send you two screenshots. One will be the old complementary shaders with the RTX-ish profile, and let me send that. And the new one will be reimagined. That's the old one, the current one, and this is the new shader pack. If you compare the lighting on grass blocks and the leaves, you can see that there is a big difference between them. The both screenshots are using the same sun angle, but as you can see, the old screenshot, does not have sun lighting or not good looking lighting in general on grass blocks, and the leaves are appearing to be glowing. This is because the light is directly on top of this entire scene in that screenshot, which is also the case in Complementary Reimagined. But in Reimagined, I had to make some tweaks in order to make it look good. And I think I achieved at least a decent looking image, like what you would expect in a good shader pack. The next thing I want to talk about is a brand new feature in Complementary Reimagined called Scene Aware Light Shafts. You might have saw some videos or screenshots showing how cool intense light shafts look in Minecraft. But the problem is that intense light shafts just aren't nice for visibility or gameplay because they create an insane fog effect on the entire world. So I was thinking, what if I could make intense light shafts only appear in situations that we want them to appear? So uh, I did exactly that. Here I am sending screenshots comparing without scene aware, screenshot coming in a minute, a second, and with scene aware shafts. As you can see, there is now a intense light shift effect on the entire scene, but you won't have that intense light, the intense fog effect when you aren't in a situation where it won't look good. Only in situations like you're in a cave, or in the trailer you saw light shafts coming in through the window. Like in that situation, you can see that uh, intense light shafts look nice, really nice. But in outdoors, you really don't want to see intense fog because that's just not good for visibility or gameplay. So, scene-aware light shafts solve everything. The next topic is the new shadow bias method that was first proposed by GRI 573, which is the developer of Complementary shaders, if you know about it. Uh, I told you how I changed how light interacts with blocks to make things better with the Minecraft sun angle. What I will tell you now is related to that, but we figured a new way of doing shadow map sampling in Complementary Reimagined. Long story short is that it fixes almost all problems with the old system. The infamous light leaking problem is pretty much entirely gone now. And thanks to that, we can do sun and moon lighting in caves now. You saw that in the last screenshot I sent you. But now I will send you a comparison of old and new system. As you can see, the old one has the problem we call pattern panning. And the new one is just perfect shadowing. Like there isn't a seam, a problem in the corner. Uh, this new way of doing shadow sampling completely fixes the problem, and it even runs slightly better in terms of performance. And also, thanks to this, we can now have lighting in caves, and I want to show you a screenshot of that. Complementary V4 and complementary reimagined. As you can see, uh, both screenshots have the same sun angle, but in reimagined, you are actually seeing the sunlight and even the light shifts. Those are scene aware light shifts I told you about. So, uh, speaking of caves, I figured that one of the most lacking aspects of the old complementary was the caves. Like the player, the user, spent so much gameplay time in a cave. Part of Minecraft is caving. Even the name of the game was called Cave Game at one point. So I figured we need to improve caves in Reimagined. So uh, I implemented some sort of humidity, but it's really cheap and it's done using Bloom. But I think combined with some subtle fog, I think it really produces a good result. Here is complementary V4 real quick and reimagined. In reimagined, I think you can see the atmosphere in the cave. Like I feel like you can feel the humidity, if you know what I mean. I think this is a good improvement over version 4. And I think that concludes the features I wanted to mention today. And I lastly want to touch on what some of you would want to compare complementary reimagined to. Uh, the Bedrock RTX, also known as Minecraft RTX. It tries to achieve a similar thing at first look. It respects the design decisions of Minecraft and is a fancy pack in general. But there are two massive problems with RTX. As most of you probably know at this point, RTX just fails to look good. And I really want to show you that today because uh, people still compare shader packs to Minecraft RTX. So here I am sending a similar scene. Not I couldn't find the exact same scene because I was limited in time. But here is Minecraft RTX, and here is Reimagined. I think you can see my point here. The Minecraft RTX screenshot is using the Kelly's RTX pack, which is I think the most commonly used pack right now when it comes to Minecraft RTX. But I think you can see that Reimagined just generally looks more natural because of thanks to all the atmosphere and lighting tweaks. So I really enjoy. I really hope you enjoy Reimagined when you get your hands on it, um, because the website is down. You couldn't get this information, but I need to tell you. Uh, Unfortunately, Reimagined isn't exactly ready yet. So unfortunately, it won't release today, but it will release in just 3 to 4 weeks. Too, not too far away, but right now I really don't want to launch a product that isn't like in the same quality as the current complementary version 4. I want to finish it and polish it before I give it to you. So currently, uh, because I know that some of you would still really would like to use a non-complete pack, I will still give it to people that support me on Patreon. But um, you can also use the Patreon trick where you just become a Patreon and then leave, cancel your Patreon to get the pack for free. Uh, if you want to do that, like if you really don't want to pay me, you can get it by just becoming a Patreon. Then download the pack, then leave. That's okay. I'm okay with that. But if you want to support me, that's okay too. It will be available on Patreon for now. And in 3 weeks, in June 17, in 4 weeks, I think, June 17 will be the release date of Complementary Reimagined. Um, I hope to finish the pack and add even more features, even more exciting things, and even more optimization. And since we are talking about optimization, um, probably all of you want to know, well, most of you want to know, how good it performs compared to other shader packs. Now I can tell you that Complementary Reimagined runs better than complementary and better than BSL and better than Seldor's Vibrant, as far as I have tested myself. It basically runs like one of the fastest shader packs ever from what I have tested. I can't exactly confirm this, as the performance can be different on different hardware, but especially in very performance heavy situations like it's raining, it's a lot of foliage around, a lot of trees around, a lot of chests, animals around. Reimagined performs many times faster than similar shader packs. Like, I think you will be pleased with the performance, as it's one of the fastest running shader packs out there right now. So yeah, that's all I wanted to tell you today, and I will start answering your questions real quick. So let's start by the question of, hello Emin, will Complementary Reimagined have deep dark support since the release is likely going to be before you are done? Um, the question is come by Whale. Um, I will add support for Deep Dark, of course. It's actually right now in complementary version 4.2. And I will add the support for it as soon as possible. Will some of these changes come to complementary V4, asked by Space Eagle? It will. I will port over the everything I can to complementary V4, as will still continue to support complementary V4 as far as I can. I know that some of you won't prefer the vanilla Minecraft style. I know that some of you will still want to use the old complementary, and that's okay. So I will keep updating it. But know that not all features can be ported over, because complementary is really showing its age at this point. It's become a complete pack with a lot of features that I need to remove some features to be able to add more, and I can't do that. It is People like every feature in complementary, it seems. Whenever I remove a feature from complementary, some people get disappointed. So I won't do that. I will try my best to improve complementary over the years while still developing both shader packs at the same time. Tom asked, will transparent other layers on skins still work? Of course, Complementary Reimagined still uses the forward rendering, which is a good way of doing rendering, basically. It's a nice way to preserve blending. Like the transparent outer layer skins need blending to work, and since I am still doing forward rendering, things like that will work perfectly. Staikimus asked, will the new clouds render through translucent blocks such as colored glass? This is a good question. As a lot of volumetric effects in shader effects are often not able to be seen through translucent blocks, but I can assure you that it will blend perfectly. There will be no cloud blending problems in Reimagined. Breckrel asked, will there be an option to change the water from this Bedrock RTX-ish style to normal water? Uh, Currently, I didn't add the option yet. Currently, we don't have it, but in the coming versions, I might do that if the demand is high enough. I will add a waving reflection option, and if people want it, I can also add the option to remove the water texture completely. Rinko asked, cloud layers in options. Of course, there will be a double cloud layer option in Complementary Reimagined. Pejik asked, does Reimagined have glowing ores? The answer is not by default, but I will add an option for people that really like glowing ores. Rocky the Miner asked, how many emins of the April Emin army were used in the creation of this project? I didn't actually count the number, so I can't say much about that. Genuine question. Why the name Reimagined? Less than pi asked this question. So the name Reimagined comes from the uh, fact that I want to make a new complementary, but I didn't want to call it Complementary 5 because that will mean the current complementary, Complementary 4, is obsolete. Like there is no need for Complementary 4 if Complementary 5 exists. So I need to find a new name. So I was looking at other shader packs and I saw that Zeus Renewed is the pack. So the Renewed sounded good to me, but of course I didn't want to copy it. And I was thinking, what is my goal? My goal is reimagining Minecraft. So that word, the reimagine word, felt like the perfect word to me, as this is both a reimagination of Minecraft and the reimagination of Complementary at the same time. Uh, Sparkists asked, Emin, you said we'd find an answer to this. We need an answer. The question is, can Reimagined pay my taxes? The answer is unfortunately no. Is this for all versions of Minecraft? L44 asked. Yeah, I44. It is for all versions of Minecraft, but uh, I can't exactly guarantee that it will work perfectly on all versions due to the weirdness of Optifine. But I will try to support as many versions as I can. Tem asked, will Reimagined have lab PBR support? Um, my plan is that I first want to get things perfect for vanilla Minecraft. Uh, no resource fix or no mods at first. And after I finish Reimagined as a perfect, what I consider to be perfect in nature, I will start working on things like lab PBR support, but it won't be available at launch. What will the menu scheme be like? Ninja Plays asked. It will be similar to complementary, but not really, because there are far less options right now, and the amount of options will increase over time. Right now we have way less options, so the menu scheme won't look exactly the same. But I will still have a lot of options, hopefully, for you to play with. Will it eventually have miscellaneous settings, like green screen concrete? Um, I think so, yeah. But I don't see a reason to not add miscellaneous settings like that. So I will probably add things over time. What is driver support like? Does it work on Mac, Misa, etc.? Right now, I can't exactly say much about driver support because I didn't test it, but I will do my best to support it on every device, including Mac if I can, which is quite hard for me. But if there is a opportunity, I will take it and I will do my best to support all drivers in Reimagined. Will M1 support be a thing? Also, I will try to do it, but of course, since I don't have access to an M1 machine, I can't exactly do much about it. But I changed a lot of technical things in Reimagined, so maybe it might work this time, but I can't say anything for sure yet. Tech asked, in what way is this shader different from complementary, and what sets it apart from other currently popular shaders? So this is actually something that I talked about in the event. So the main thing is that it aims to complement Minecraft, is what I would call it. Instead of aiming for realism or epic effects or complexity, it instead aims to perfectly match the Minecraft style, but just looking better, with as much effects as possible, but without losing the Minecraft core, is what Reimagined tries to achieve. And I think that sets it apart from both the original complementary and other shader packs. Baked Potato asked, what is the website? The website has information about Reimagined and version 4. Also some contact details, and I will probably put other stuff in later, but currently it's down and I need to fix it after the reveal event. Sparkist asked, so is this planned to be a vanilla plus shader of some sort, not completely changing the vanilla style? Yeah, exactly. It's supposed to build on vanilla without changing it too much. But I think the vanilla plus isn't exactly a shader effect that we can compare it to, because mainly because of the fact that vanilla plus doesn't draw the line on never touching a single design decision made by the developers of Minecraft. That really limits what I could do, but I think uh, I overcome all the limits that I can. Like what I told you about the sun angle, the clouds, the performance problems that come with the clouds. So yeah, Rinko asked about the performance. It is quite good, as I told you. It's going to probably be one of the fastest shader packs ever when we think about how many effects it has. Andy with Cats asked, where are the cucumbers? The answer isn't ready yet. Maybe ask that later. Will this shader focus on performance like complementary, or will it be natural? As you can probably guess from the performance figures I told you about, I am really focusing on performance. A lot of people really can't run complementary version 4 due to the fact that Minecraft really got very demanding over the years, and this time I want to make a very optimized pack. Like complementary version 4 is a very optimized pack, but it doesn't seem to be enough at this point. So we need. I'm aiming for better than complementary right now. Never gonna give you up asked, what is your favorite food? My favorite food is, I think it's chicken with rice, I think. When will a public release happen? Uh, Again, it will happen on June 17. Complementary Reimagined will release on June 17. What are your thoughts on pineapple on pizza? Captain L asked. I never tried pineapple on pizza actually. Will we have access to any post-processing effects such as FXAA and TAA, outlines, etc.? Solar9 asked. Um, we will have access to some effects, like I'm planning to add outlines, but some effects like the anti-aliasing, FXAA and TAA, may not be an option in Reimagined because I will keep them enabled by default internally. A lot of optimizations in Reimagined come from the fact that FXAA and TAA work together and produce a smooth image that can be calculated with less samples, less GPU overhead. So, in order to optimize things, I had to force TAA on by default, and we probably won't have options to disable them. Sorry. Is there an option for V4 clouds? As Spaceship asked. Uh, there probably won't be an option for V4 clouds, as um, I currently don't plan to make big ports from complementary like that. But maybe in the future I can change my mind, but not right now. It's not a plan for now. Uh, Gento Gamer asks, are any new weather effects planned? I am planning on making better rain than complementary, and maybe some stuff for thunder, but making weather effects is quite hard in Minecraft shader packs due to the fact that we don't really know much about the scene, the weather, because Optifine or Iris doesn't really tell us much about the current situation. But in the future, I will definitely consider it as rain time and weather effects is a aspect of complementary that doesn't really match the standards of like perfection, as you would call it. Swarther Exert asked, will the new clouds have decent visibility when you are on their Y level? You can't see anything when you are inside a cloud in Nostalgia shaders. So there is an interesting feature I added in Reimagined about the clouds. The main problem of vanilla clouds in Minecraft is that they go inside buildings. I actually hate this fact, and I always turned off the vanilla clouds of Minecraft due to this problem. But in Reimagined, I found a way to make clouds don't enter buildings. They won't enter closed areas. So uh, it probably won't be a visibility problem for you. As long as your building is closed with either glass or blocks, the clouds won't be able to come inside. Less than pi asked, so now that you are developing two shaders at once, we will probably get slower updates, right? The answer for that is that probably not slower than right now because in the last 6 months, uh, most of my development time went to Reimagined. You might have noticed that Complementary version 4 got updates almost every month until the point where I started developing Reimagined. Like I made a new update every single month, at least 2 months, sometimes in every 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And after Reimagined, I needed to spend that time on Reimagined, and the updates slowed down quite a bit. But I really enjoy developing shaders, and I think the updates won't get slower than the current situation. I plan to release an update for Complementary version 4 in the coming weeks because the new Minecraft version 1.19 is coming out very soon. So I will hopefully release a major or middle-sized update for Minecraft 1.19. Emaya asked, when will International Women's Day become an official international holiday? I think you need to ask this question to authorities, not me. Will something change in the Discord with the release of Reimagined? Tiger asked. Of course, there will be new channels for Reimagined. Also, we will change the general look of the general categorization of the channels to better suit to different shader packs. Septonius asked, are you going to add Planner 2.5D effects such as skybox clouds and auroras? Skybox clouds, as I just answered, it might not be very near right now because I don't have plans to make new clouds right now. But auroras, I will definitely add auroras. That's something that Complementary version 4 has. And I don't want Complementary Reimagined to be less than version 4 in any way. Anyway, except maybe mod support. Um, will entity shadows work by default? IMS asked. They probably won't, because this saves like 3 times performance in some situations. So yeah, they will be disabled by default. Jorgen asked, how are the performance profiles, such as VForce, Potato, Low, and such? How do performance gains scale on lower settings? In Reimagined, we actually don't have such steep performance changes between the profiles. Like in version 4, the potato profile runs like 3 times faster than the default one, and the extreme profile runs like half the speed as the default one. In Reimagined, we probably won't have that much of a difference between the profiles. Will there be iris-only features in this pack? Cape Tunnel asked. I think there will be. We are planning on having a player shadow system a little defined in the shader options added by IMS recently. So by default, the entity shadows will be disabled in Reimagined, but the player shadow will work in Iris still. But you can always enable the entity shadows in shader options if you have the performance. Zonk asked, can the shadow map create shadows onto the clouds as if it was fog? I'm cheating to get to questions. Sorry, not sorry. There will be the cloud shadows are actually used for the interior detection. What I told you about clouds won't go inside buildings. So since I'm using the shadow map for that, there probably won't be fog-like dark clouds when they're in the shadow, because they will probably fade out in that case. Cape Tunnel asked, will there be an option to customize how the clouds look? Thickness, shape, and color. Not color probably, because giving color options really opens so many coding problems to me that in the end hurt performance by a little amount. So to not hurt performance, I probably won't give you exactly color options, but I will give you thickness, shape, and double cloud layer options. Also cloud shadow option. And if people want more, I think I can do even more options in the future. Uh, will there be new biome-specific weather effects? Maybe sandstorms, heavy rains, and such. Um, Sandstorms might something I might look into in the future, in the near future, that is. But heavy rains and other weather effects, as I told you, not really the easiest thing to do in the limitations of Optifine and Iris. Will cloud shadows on the ground be blocky too? Of course. Unlike in Complementary version 4, the cloud shadows in Reimagined will be real-time cloud shadows, not random cloud shadowing. Hawk Janus asked, will you be able to port over settings from Complementary to the Nave shader pack? You won't be able to do that because the settings and code base is completely different between the versions. So you can't do that. Um, Zclip asked, will it have rain puddle reflections? Um, it will have reflections, of course, like integrated PBR reflections, but rain puddle reflections are something that I might pass for now. But I recently had an idea to make to solve the problem with them. Like the problem with rain puddles is that whenever you make a building with a glass roof, since that glass roof passes the sunlight, or I should say the skylight through it, the result is that rain puddles appear in the building because the skylight is maximum in the building. So the shader pack thinks it's outside. It's raining there. So that problem prevents me from adding it right now. But I will try to do something about it. Tiger asked, is there always going to be an exclusive access, or will it be removed when Reimagined is publicly released? There will always be an exclusive access for Patreons, but Patreons and Nitro boosters, also the screenshot contest winners. But after the release of Reimagined, we won't see that much content there because I really want to make shader packs for everyone. I don't want to make a paid shader pack that will only be available to people that paid me. So we won't really see much content in exclusive access, but I will every now and then may send an experimental update test version there. I plan to do that, but we probably won't see something as big as Reimagined. What changes would you make to Iris if you were actively developing it? Right now, I think Iris only needs to fix the little problems like not being exactly compatible with Optifine, and I think Iris really needs to get custom uniforms implemented to support other shader packs. Like Iris supports both complementary shader packs right now, but I feel like it should support every shader pack, and that should be a priority. Even if it won't really have a benefit for complementary, I think all shader packs should be able to run on Iris. Will Reimagined have a compatibility mode? I'm not sure about that yet, so I will see if that will be the case after I implement some options about it. I mean, I feel like this is a question you would know. Is there life on other planets? Um, Sorry, I don't really know answer to that. I don't know the answer to that question. Amaya asked regarding shader performance optimizations, are most of the limitations on the shader pack side, or could the existing shader APIs, Optifine, Iris, be improved further? I think the performance limitations are um, not exactly on the shader pack side, but I can't really push all blame to the APIs. Like in the end, your GPU, your graphics card need to do all the calculations that I wrote in the shader pack. So I can't really make clouds free all of a sudden if the Optifine and Iris supported so many things. Like it's not possible to optimize something fully to the ultimate level. Like it will always be some sort of there will always be some sort of performance loss with fancy effects. So I would say most of the limitations are always on the shader pack side. Jürgen asked Emin, how is the Nether? Heat distortion, integrate PBR emissive trees and such. The Nether right now looks very similar to version 4, but since I have a nice way of doing volumetric stuff in the new shader pack, I might be able to implement some cool effects there in the future. Will you try to add support for mod features, dimensions, like you currently do with Complementary? I will only do that if Iris and or Optifine supports modded dimensions again in the newer Minecraft versions, because as far as I have seen, the Minecraft community is slowly moving towards a newer Minecraft versions when it comes to modding. Like there was a time where the 1.12.2 version was the most modded version of Minecraft, but I think it's no longer the case. Like mods are slowly moving towards 1.16, 1.18, and um, the dimension support I will add right now only works in 1.12 and lower versions. So I don't really want to do that when the mod community is already moving away from it. Bright HD asked, are there world space reflections or just screen space? I am working on some reflection capturing, and I had sort of working results. Like I had working results. They worked fine, but the general nature of reflection capturing and world space reflections is that they either look somewhat quirky, like broken in some ways, but uh, if they don't look broken, in that case, they cause a lot of performance problems. So it's really a tricky balance to get things right, and I am working on it. But I currently don't have anything that meets the standards of like getting things perfect. Um, Kaimatina asked, what keeps you motivated to develop shaders? Throughout the 2 years Complementary has existed, I would have expected you to slow down development at least a little, but it looks like you have only gotten faster and now you are taking on a whole new project. And there was no real way to donate to you until recently, when you opened up a Patreon. Uh, yeah, the thing that keeps me motivated to develop shaders is mainly the fact that Minecraft is a nice game. Like I like the game. The reason I started developing shaders was the fact that I wanted my favorite game to look better. So I wanted to look at graphics mods out there. I came across shaders. I came across BSL, Seus, Sildur's, Vibrant, and they couldn't really fit my standards, I would say. So I had to make my own BSL edit, which was the BSL was the closest to being the perfect shader pack at the time, I think. So I started editing it because I wanted my game to look better. That's it. And I'm still motivated to this day because, firstly, the game is still good. Like Minecraft is still a fun game, and they are adding new stuff to it all the time. And the complementary community have always been nice to me, as far as I have seen. Like people seem to like my work from what I have seen, which was quite weird to me at first. Like the last year, I couldn't believe that people were using my BSL edit all of a sudden. But now that I see that you all want to see me developing it, then I will keep developing it. It motivates me that I am providing something that you all want to use, and also I want to use. So I have no reason to not be motivated, I think. Unlike Paladin asked, I know colored lights was answered, but will Cineware lighting from V4 make it to Reimagined? Uh, the main problem with Cineware lighting is that it uses a color attachment, which is a limited thing in Optifine. So when I add that, I limit the pack's capabilities over time. So I will not edit quite soon, but when the pack nears its development cycle, like it's near done at this point, I can say. At that point, I can look at features like colored lighting, Cineware colored lighting, and I can add them if there is space for it. Kidney Bean asked, "Do you ever run out of ideas? And if you do, how do you get more?" I always run out of ideas. Like I should say, I ran out of ideas every time I released a new complementary version, almost. Like I was releasing a new complementary and saying, okay, like this is the end. I can't add more stuff at this point. I achieved perfection, I think. But looking at it now, I see that after every update, you guys have always told me interesting suggestions, questions, and I just find new stuff all of a sudden. Like I run out of ideas, but I always get more either from you guys or it just appears to my head all of a sudden sometimes. Do you use any comp presets like RTX-ish and such, or do you have your own? If you do have your own, can you leak it? I had my own complementary preset that I actually shared in settings only channel a while ago. If you use the Discord's search feature to search my messages in settings only channel, I think you can find it. I use a mixture of extreme and high settings, and I also enabled a couple little tweak features. Xander creates, genuine questions. A translation. Do you think Reimagined will all evolve almost indefinitely? Of course, I don't think something can evolve indefinitely. Like, there needs to be a point where it will near its development cycle. Like, of course, a good product always requires improvements. Always requires it to be supported by the developer. Because there is always new variables coming to the scene, new graphics cards, new Minecraft versions, new and new drivers, the new problems. Like, of course, I will keep supporting it, but there will be a point where I can't really add much features. Jürgen asked, how have you dealt with Optifine's infamous light leakage? Um, I actually fixed that using a little trick that I told you about a little while ago. Um, the trick was first told to me by GRI573, the developer of Complementary shaders. Um, he told me that I can sample the shadow map without using a usual bias that we use. So after trying out his suggestion, I saw that it really does fix almost everything. Like there was a couple problems still in the caves, especially in caves, mainly due to shadow filtering and such. But after doing some weird tweaks here and there, um, they just turned out to be great. Like there is no problems with the shadows right now from I have seen. Are there morning fog volumes blobs like Coepic shaders? I love the foggy atmosphere. Happy to hear about nether fog volumes. Um, Coepic 13 shaders fog volumes often don't look that great when it comes to visibility. Like they look beautiful. I will give it that, but one of my key standards when it comes to complementary is that visibility and gameplay is key. Like I don't want to make any situation uh, bad in terms of visibility. So I might not add a morning fog volume. But if I feel like I can edit without a performance loss and no too much complexity, not much complexity, then I will consider it in the future because Reimagined is generally quite clean right now and it's way easier than version 4 when it comes to adding new stuff. So I will definitely consider it, I think. Space Eagle says drink some water. Of course, yeah, I need to do that real quick. Uh, Captain Al said, will you endorse or at least allow reimagined edits? Um, as always, I really want to make the community happy. Like my main goal isn't to become the number one force in the shader pack community. No, I want to add to the community. I want to make people happy. So I will of course allow all reimagined edits, just like the open license of complementary shaders version 4. Luna asked, "What's your favorite pastime aside from shaders and Minecraft?" Um, it's probably not a surprise, but I like playing good-looking games. Like my favorite two games at the moment, other than Minecraft, are um, Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is pretty much a graphics showcase, and Forza Horizon 5, which is also a great looking game. Other than that, I like spending time on the computer. I think I don't touch grass most of the time. Tigress, I can't recall if anyone has asked this. Is there going to only support for the newest MC version or all MC versions? I will try to support all MC versions, but if there is an Optifine problem in the older versions, because there is always some quirks in the older Optifine versions, then I may need to not support that version, that problematic version. But I will try to. That's the main point. So yeah, I think that's the questions done. Um, One last question. What's your opinion on Minecraft mods? Um, I actually quite like Minecraft mods. Ever since I started playing Minecraft, I always liked mods, adding new features to Minecraft. But quite recently, uh, since Minecraft is getting bigger and bigger over time, um, at this point, I don't really use much mods in my game, as vanilla Minecraft seems enough to me right now. But I still like mods, and I would like to support them. But unfortunately, it's not the easiest thing to support mods in shader packs. I tried my best in version 4, Complementary Shaders V4. So I will uh, probably keep mod support on Complementary V4 and not bother too much about it on the Reimagined. Do I use Iris or Optifine? I use Iris most of the time recently, but when it comes to development, I switch to Optifine very often because Optifine gives slightly better error messages when you have compile errors. Tom asked, "What's your favorite car in Forza?" Let me think. Aston Martin DB5, I think. So, what's your GPU? Tiger asked. I have an laptop, mobile, RTX 3070. So I think that should be enough for the Q&A today. I thank you so much for coming here and listening to me. It really means a lot that you all want to listen to what I had to say about the new shader pack, and I really hope you have a nice day. And I didn't disappoint you by saying the release date is on June 17, as I don't want to release it right now, but. Um, I hope you have a nice day and hope to see you on June 17 with our brand new shader pack that hopefully runs faster than most shader packs out there. See you later, everyone.